Hey, welcome to the Tuesday Movies Podcast. I'm Cam.
I'm Luke.
And today we have a very special guest. You can hear her laughing already. Very special guest, a friend, a coworker, a peer,
A
relative to me,
Cam, yeah.
Payton freaking Liggins. Payton,
Welcome to the show.
welcome to the show.
Thank y'all for having me.
Very much so. How are you feeling today?
Why'd you say it?
How are you
I'm great. How are y'all?
doing? All right.
We're doing good.
That's awesome.
So Peyton, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from? Or we don't have to say that. What do you do? I guess where you from, whatever you do,
I am from the south suburbs of Chicago. I work at the Daily Eastern News. I am the sports reporter. I am the parliamentarian for the Black Student Union.
Yo. Sorry.
And yes, I'm just here at Eastern Illinois.
Her best life. All right, so we are talking about the 2016 drama Fences, starring Denzel Washington. Lost my list. Denzel Washington, Viola Davis, Stephen McKinley Henderson, Stephen,
Stephen, I think.
Stephen, Jovan
Adepo, I believe.
Adpo,
Adepo, I think.
Okay, and
Ooh, I don't even want to drink.
I think we all look at Mike Kelty,
Mykelty.
Williamson,
McKelty, yeah.
Mr. Williamson,
Right. Yeah.
and Russell Hornsby. Pretty, Viola Davis, or the first three we named, have they're really obviously really well known and have a superb acting performance in this. But
I have the awards from 2017 to back it up as well.
very much so. But we'll talk about pretty much what the movie's about. It's about this washed baseball player, Denzel, whose real name is Troy Maxson, and he's kind of in his later years in life. Later years in life, he's a garbage man, and he has a wife, Viola, and it's a really simple life, but it's kind of depressing because he's just a cranky old man at the end of the day.
Basically.
And
Yeah.
he doesn't have a great relationship with his family, and it's very apparent. He has some drinking problem. That's it's not like it's there, like it's there. It's not like it's not his main story, but the movie is kind of like a life lesson, I guess. There's so many different things you could take from it, but that's pretty much the general basis of it. It has a lot of family issues and family dilemmas and generational trauma, I guess we could say. And we're gonna get into that today. So we can start with our general thoughts. Ladies first.
I always loved the movie Fences. I don't know. It's just Jesus. It's the typical life of a Black family in the 60s, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad to say that the father treated him like that, and his drinking problem. He went and got another woman pregnant.
Yeah, skipped over that part. My fault.
You mean your fault? What?
My bad. I just didn't mention that.
Oh, yes.
I'll talk about that later, but
That is the reality for some people.
Yeah, it's sad.
That it really is the reality to some families. But, it was a good movie overall. I always love Fences. Yeah.
Can I ask you why you picked it? I know you loved it, but there is. Oh, I guess I kind of answered. You just love it because of all its traits, whatever. But yeah, there's Peyton's pick this week. Every guest picks. But Luke, what are your thoughts?
yeah, I was watching it, right, and I got about halfway through, and I was like, man, this is really great. And then I was halfway through, and then the second half, I was like, okay, this is good. And I know Cam's already unhappy with me about
It's
this.
not even that. Oh, you know what? I don't even. We've never found a movie that Luke liked that's not Marvel or like some comic book or something directed by Christopher Nolan.
Even those movies, I still have things to nitpick with. Even though Interstellar's on my top 4 on Letterboxd, I still have it.
What do you rate the movie?
We do have.
Oh, is that here? Oh, yeah. Getting the head of our horses here. All right.
Hold on, baby.
But as a brief recap, and I'll go later in depth on the things that are disappointing-ish.
Okay.
But acting, oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. like mouth-watering levels of good. Like,
What's up with you, bro? This is like the third
What do you mean?
episode. You didn't. You know what? I'll let
I'm
you
giving descriptors so the viewers at home know what I mean.
go.
But
Alright.
yeah, at first I thought Denzel Washington was gonna be my favorite, but honestly, Viola Davis I think took it for me,
Mhm.
especially once we get the kind of dialogue between her and Washington about the cheating scandal thing. That really sent cemented it.
Cemented.
Yeah, that cemented it for me.
Of
Cement.
course.
I can't say the word. You know what I mean. But so that was a big thing. I also really like the dialogue and the chemistry. Like that was the first thing that stuck out to me in the first scene is the way everybody talked and had chemistry with each other, and it didn't feel like it was forced or acting. It almost felt just natural. And I was like, that's really, really impressive. That doesn't happen very often, I feel like, in some movies. There's always at least a couple of characters you can point out and they're like, yeah, they're here for the paycheck and then want to leave. But I think all the characters that are here and acting really feel like they want to be here and feel like the dialogue that they have is important. Even though some of the dialogue is the parts that I don't care for, because this movie is like, I think 2 hours, 18 minutes long.
Mhm.
It's long. And I like got through the first half and I was like, I'm vibing with this. Let's go. And then I paused it to like put my laundry from the washer in the dryer. And I was like, oh my God, I've still got another hour and a half of this. And it mostly just turned into monologues. And the thing about them is that they're important to have because they're telling stories like how Peyton mentioned about like the black experience in the 60s kind of thing. I don't know if stereotypical is the right word, but how you mentioned the family aspect of it. Like there's those experiences that some people would face back then,
Mhm.
stuff like that. And I think all of those have some symbolism and meaning behind the story, so it's good that they're there. But after hearing Denzel Washington talk for 5 minutes straight about leaving his home at 14, I'm kind of like, can we get back to some other things that I thought were more interesting?
Mhm.
And I don't know what happened to my notes there. Okay, but anyway, but there's that. The cinematography and designs I think are good. They're nothing outstanding, but they're definitely not bad by any means either. So they're kind of in the middle of the road for me. And then there's some smaller other stuff that I want to talk about further in length, but I want to come back to these are general thoughts.
Okay. You know, I watched this. My mom took me to go see this. It came out in 2016, so I was probably 12, turning 13 or already 13. She took me to go see it. I'm like, man, this is so boring. Like, it looks depressing. It is depressing.
It
And I'm 13. I'm like, bro, everyone's so old. I'm like, who cares? This is
That's
hard.
crazy.
Bro, I mean, like, shout out to my moms though for taking me to go see it. She's the reason I like do.
Shout out OG.
Shout out to my moms, man. Come on.
Shout out Cam's mom.
Shout out Cam's mom. But yeah, to me, go see. I'm like, man, this is so boring. But I always put on my recently put on my watch list because I'm like, you know, I watched it when I was younger. I thought it was boring, but like, it's highly reviewed, and I'm like, all right, let me go back and watch it. And I understand it now, probably because I got older. And I understand more things in the world. I'm 13. All I know is I don't know basketball or whatever, and like, you know, stupid stuff. But I really, I'm not the age to where I can fully appreciate it because I don't have kids. I don't think I'll understand it until like my kids are old or like I've been through stuff and I've, you know. But I will say, I think there's a lot to learn from it, and I think it could show. You know, I think I or you know, not even just me because I'm like black, but oh yeah, also it's Black History Month, so we're doing Black History movies all month.
Yes.
Yeah, forgot to say that. So, but I mean, sorry, but I think like just
There we go.
yeah, Black History, man, give it up, man. But I think I'm just like being a black guy, and just knowing like, yeah, that's not how I want to live my life. Just being like, putting myself in like the son's shoes, being in the son's shoes in this movie, and then looking at Denzel and just noticing like, yeah, I don't want to be that. And then, you know, being a son of my own, um, you know, you don't want to pick up some traits from certain people. I think that just goes for anyone, not even just me. Like, there's something you see in your mom, or your dad, or whatever, or your guardian. You're like, you know what, I like this, but I don't want to do this. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. That's just not how you want to live your life, which is fine. So I think in that regard, it's real. It does a really good job telling that. Like you said, we'll get into it later about the interesting stuff you were talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just my general thoughts. Really, I did have I'm glad I revisited it because I don't really rewatch movies.
Is it okay if we segue into something that I wrote down? It's not one of the things I dislike,
Yeah.
but we both, all three of us really, have mentioned there are a lot of things you can take away from the movie where you're saying there's something we learned, there's multiple interpretations, that kind of thing. The one that stuck out to me the most, I think, was the debate between Corey, who is Troy, which is Denzel Washington. Corey is Troy's son. And the debate that they have throughout the whole movie, for the most part, is revolving around college football. And there's a part of Troy's backstory where he wanted to be a Major League Baseball player, but by the time it rolled around that they started letting black people play baseball, he was too old and he wasn't able to do it. So he kind of missed out his chance and he was being a little salty about it. And then Corey comes along, gets started to be recruited by this college football guy, and is like, yo, you're talented. Come play for us. And his dad's like, nope, we're not going to do that. I'd rather you not. You need to be a man and learn how to do things by hand. Go learn a trade. Go work at this car shop kind of thing. Yeah. Which, mind you, he had a job, still had it, and then just set aside, like, I can only do weekends now because I have this football thing going on. And that didn't sit right with Troy.
I thought you lied, but that was the big thing. He lied and said about.
He did lie.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I asked
Ended
that.
up
too.
going up
Alright.
to the job.
I must have missed that. My bad. But point being, that's the debate that's happening. And on a deeper level of not just the fact that it's a debate, it kind of felt like a debate between old world versus new world values to me, where Troy was kind of embodying the old world where, like, don't take it out of context, but like, it was like, you're black, you can't do this because XYZ kind of thing. Like, that's the time period it was back then. And Troy was kind of still set in that mind of before the baseball change happened, where he's like, oh, that's the white man's sport. You can't go do that, yada, yada kind of thing. And then you have the opposite of Corey, where he's like, Dad, times have changed. That's doable now. Jackie Robinson is playing. And that's one of the first conversations in the movie is about Jackie Robinson being able to play baseball and Troy still being completely salty about it. But I like the chemistry because all the characters have good chemistry with each other, but especially these two. And Corey finally has enough of it a few times and, like, stands up for himself, for his mom. And it was like, hey, you're being a dick, frankly. Like, you need to back off, telling Troy that. And Troy just keeps giving him strikes. It's like, you do that third one, you're out of here, buddy. And eventually it does come to a head with that, with a scene in the backyard and baseball bat and stuff. But I think that debate was really interesting between the two, because the more that I watched, even before they started having this debate, but seeing the way that Corey acted versus Troy, I was like, man, I don't see why Troy can't understand where Corey is coming from. Like, Corey's kind of based with what he's saying. Like, how he's like, Dad, I've managed to, he was lying, but like, if he still was able to set his job aside for weekends and do both, I don't see why he can't do both. And that's just me. Maybe there's another reason that I don't get fully from it, but
I think. Do you have something to say?
No, go ahead.
I think. Now I'm not defending anyone. I guess I'm playing advocate.
right.
I don't like saying devil's advocate, but you know, it is the white man's sport. It still is a white man's sport. Probably will always be a white man's sport. Adam Silver is, he runs the league. I know that that's basketball. I don't know who does baseball. So I can't. I don't know for a fact it's a white guy. So I actually cannot say that.
I don't watch sports, so I couldn't even tell you.
But I know what he's saying. I mean, I understand. Like,
I understand.
they don't. Yeah, and I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it reminded me of the grocery store thing. I pay more at this restaurant because they treat me well, as opposed to this restaurant that doesn't treat me, or this grocery store that doesn't treat me well but charges less. I probably, if I have a good relationship, like if you treated me like garbage but you charge less, but you treat me right and you charge a little more, I'm more inclined to go to you because we already got a relationship and I know I'm about to get some more. I mean, y'all sort of the same.
Yeah.
So I think it goes. I think that's what he was basing it off of. But again, I'm not like.
Maybe so. And then once again, that also ties back in with Troy kind of representing these like old world value kind of things. And Corey kind of wanted to cross that bridge and kind of enter a new age, I guess, of doing things, just kind of making it more accessible for all people, all equal kind of thing.
Again, though, I've seen 42. They was still treating Jackie Robinson like cheap, like trash. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. Another interesting thing kind of with these like characters and the interactions, Rose, who's Viola Davis's character,
Mhm.
staying with Troy after he revealed that he cheated is crazy business.
Oh my God.
I can tell you that, like, let me tell you, like, if I ever cheated on Cameron or she cheated on me, we're both gone. Like, there's no chance to, like, salvage that. That's just a non-negotiable thing. But, like, on one hand, it's very admirable that she's like, I will stand. These two are losing it right now. I can't even finish my thought.
Are you and Cameron cheating on each other? Y'all not staying.
Yeah, but, like, on one hand, it's admirable for Rose to be like, I'm with you through this thick and thin, like, regardless of what happens. On one hand, that's kind of admirable. On the other hand, are you insane? Like, that is another woman's child. Mind you, we never meet this woman through the entire story. Don't see her, and then she dies in childbirth, like, out of nowhere. And then they're like, oh, I guess I have a daughter now. Rose, can you look after her with me? And she's like, sure. And I was like, are you sure? Like, is that what you really want to do? So, I don't know. I thought that was kind of something else that was a little interesting.
You got something you want to say?
You both got something you want to say?
Oh, okay. It sucks because that is the typical black family. The man goes to cheat and she ends up staying with him. But I don't want to say she kicked him out, but he did leave. He was gone for a while and she was scared that no money was going to be coming in. But then I also think with his daughter coming, she just like her motherly instincts just clicked right away. And like she just had to take care of that baby because she knew Troy wasn't gonna do nothing. He barely want to take care of his other two kids.
Yeah.
Like,
And they mentioned too, I think Rose says it, where it was something along the lines of like, or maybe it was Troy who said it first, but she agreed. But point being, there was something about the child being innocent. Like, it's not her fault based off the sins of the father being Troy. Like, it's not, don't take it out on the child. Treat her as if it was one of your own kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, she kind of like already up there in age. Like, what's she gonna do? Like, she, I get it though. Like, she should have left. But if you really sit down and think, like, man, I'm like already like 50, 60, however old she is. My kids is already, and I'm not justifying it because I would, if I'm a grandmother, go kick rocks, bro. You know
I
what
would have
mean?
left.
Yeah, that's what it too now.
Mhm.
I mean,
You got to get to step in. Like, why would I leave? You cheated on me, but you are paying the
and but
bills.
then right, he's paying bills. She has no job.
She ain't got no job. She ain't got no money. She ain't
No
got nothing.
money.
That's how I got some.
Oh, ladies, stay up top. Always have some money. Oh my God.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, she was. But it's 50s. It's the 50s though. Like, that's all you know. I go slave for 8, 9, 10, 11 hours.
Right.
You cook, clean, make sure I got some food when I get to the crib.
And she does cook a lot in this movie, I feel like. Maybe not like
so much.
Maybe not like visibly cooking, but like
This
talks a
was
lot about it.
breakfast before the funeral.
I think the biscuits probably would have tasted good though.
Fire. Yeah. Oh, and they had Aunt Jemima and changed my lady now. They got
Pearl
melon,
Yeah,
bring back cream.
But
they changed the recipe.
something else kind of tying in with that part of it and then with the daughter is that one thing that I dislike that knocks it off a little bit is that this woman that he cheats with, we don't ever see or meet. So that's where like the second half falls off. Is I feel like the second half of the movie is entirely caused because Troy couldn't keep it in his pants, and I was like, I feel like the disagreement and banter between him and Corey was way more interesting. And maybe that's just me. I don't know, but
No, I get it.
yeah, the second part of that is passage of time, where it's practically non-existent.
Yeah.
They show the seasons changing. The B-roll of that.
Yeah.
I suppose, but like the last time
When
that
do
they
you have time to go have sex?
I don't know, man.
Like,
And then like the last time they talk, like he gets a phone call about his mistress dying through childbirth or whatever. The like two or
it
even
was
maybe the
too
next
hurt.
scene.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe like the next scene or a few scenes after that, he rolls up with his daughter who's like right there. And I'm like, when did we do this? Was this the same day or what? And then just only a few scenes after that, she's already like a toddler, like younger kid. So I don't know.
I'm not mad at that. And
Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
you know, as long as one scene she's this high, next scene she's way up here. I mean, you could do a transition slide like 6 years later or whatever, but I'm not mad at it.
And I thought I missed the little transition slide.
It wasn't though. I mean, it showed the seasons changing. That's as much as we got, but I'm not mad at it.
Maybe that's just my fault for like not recognizing it. Because after I wrote that note where like I didn't feel like the passage of time was well executed, I was like, even if they put the slide transitions in, like showing it, I feel like it would be too abrupt, as if you were like reading a book and it has that big heading at the top, like chapter 5, chapter 6 kind of thing, where it pauses you for a second. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm starting something different.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I know what you were saying about the conflict between Corey and Troy
Yeah.
being what'd you say?
That was more interesting.
More interesting. I'd agree, and I'm not upset that we didn't see this other woman. I forget her name. She was.
Did they even name her?
I think they did. I think they did. They brought her up at the beginning,
Maybe I missed it.
and then they brought her up at the end. Unless it was two different women.
I might have missed that. I had a story to put up for the den at the same time.
Yeah, it was yeah, it doesn't matter the name, but I think it was still a good story because it's another dilemma. And Corey, I mean, you could argue for so long, like about like
Right.
you can't play basket, you can't play. What was you trying to play? Football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this my house. You can only get that for so long until you want something new. So to have this whole new thing, like this a literal life problem, come in, like, oh man, what's gonna happen? And even though we see it, and I'm glad they didn't make that the main focus of it. 'Cause I probably would have got. How much dilemma can you have with like this baby? Like they go back and forth. She keeps it, or like they raise it. Like I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
But
Because where the baby gonna go at the end? Like,
the mom's died, and it's the dad.
and I just think Rose just felt bad in the motherly instinct.
You know what I'm saying?
And she has another line of dialogue too, I think, where Rose was talking to Corey or the other son, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head, and I wrote it down somewhere. But she was like, I'm gonna take it upon myself to like be a mother to her the best that I know how. Kind of
She was
thing.
talking to Corey.
Yeah.
What's folks' name? What's dude's name?
Oh,
I don't like him.
Gabriel? Or wait, no.
Lions?
Lions.
That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like him, bro.
Why?
I'm.
First team. Yeah, Paul, let me owe some money.
Yeah.
Like that's my introduction.
All he wanted was some money. He ain't come to the house no other day except Friday.
Every other Friday, hey, Paul, let me owe some.
He barely wanted to be at that funeral.
Oh, man, I don't like it. You liked him?
I didn't think he was awful.
I didn't like Corey. First time I see him, he's asking for money and
Not Corey.
Lions. The first time I see Lions, he's asking for some money. He only come around on payday. Yeah, and you my kid too? Like
$10.
$10. I only have 70. I only got paid 70. 76,
Literally,
something like that.
76, 26 or
And,
whatever.
and you want 10 of this?
Man.
I got you. What really made me mad, Pop, let me hold 10. No, Pop, I got you. I'm gonna pay you back when my wife get paid. I'm gonna take her 10 or something. Yeah, well, dog, what you got going?
Understand you want to be an artist, but go get a job. Get a job. I hate a man that don't want to work.
Right? Get a job.
Get a job. Because he gonna just take his wife's money, take his daddy's money. And Rose just like, she was tired of it.
Hey, bro, just give him to him.
Yeah, I don't think I can say that I hate Lions, but I think it's just because I feel like his character's kind of underutilized. Like he shows up for those scenes, but I feel like he doesn't have as much weight to the story outside of that, as much as maybe Corey does or Rose or some other characters. And maybe that's just why I don't care as much about it. And the same kind of goes for Bono. Like he's still a supporting character, but I feel like he's also still kind of in the background, doesn't weigh as much on the story.
I rock with Bono.
I do too. Like
I like how he almost treated him at the bar. Like got him in his place.
Yeah, I think it's just that maybe I'm indifferent on the way the characters are. They don't take too much from the story, but they don't give too much to it either, per se.
I didn't like him because
I need $10.
I need $10, bro. This all you good for right now. And you say he's such a small part to the story, but it shows like the kind of relationship. I mean, it's important because even though he's not on screen for those time, it shows the type of relationship they have. Like, I don't come to visit I don't come see my dad unless I need something. I don't talk to him unless
You just need something.
Yeah, and
But I mean,
that's
I
reflection.
get it. No, but I get it because he wasn't in his life because Troy was in jail when he grew up.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. You're older. Try to get a relationship out of him.
It's not like
Don't.
my fault.
No, it's okay. Don't just come to him on Fridays after work asking for $10 and then like just to drink his liquor. Like, I don't know.
Well, I don't get it either because no, I'm not saying yeah, like you said, it's not like he left him for 15 years and just disappeared. He was in jail because he robbed somebody and he killed somebody. But I don't know how I'd act if I didn't know my pops for that long, and. But yeah, you had another point.
Yeah, I have one final point that I wanted to bring up. Revolving with Gabe's character, when he showed up, I was kind of offset because he acted different than everybody else, and then the more that he shows up, you learn that he had got shot in the head, and there's a metal plate that's made him a little screwy. And he keeps talking about I think it's Saint Peter. I want to say it's Saint of somebody.
Saint Paul, Peter. Is this a religion?
Saint something.
It's some religious thing, but what he's saying is like he'll ring his trumpet whenever it's time, and he'll part the gates open, and like that just keeps showing up every now and then. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then there's this other part with this religious aspect that comes in where there's a lot of talk about the devil, and the first few times it shows up, the devil references the white man. And they're like, oh, the devil's not gonna let you go do whatever kind of thing. But then there's other times that it shows up and they do mean like the religious devil with the horns and all that. So then I kind of thought, and I don't have an answer for it, so this is an open question to the two of you just to know what your thoughts are. But what do you think about there not being much talk about God through it, but only the devil outside of Gabe's character with parting to the gates? Because that's really the only God talk we get outside of Rose being like, oh, they don't read the Bible. But there's nothing about like God coming for judgment. It's just the devil's here, the devil's there kind of thing, both religiously and the white man.
I think it's a good question. I say it's a reflection on how everyone is, but it's really it's just a reflection of how everything is. And when they do finally bring him up, it's when they don't bring him up directly, but when God is shown, it's when he leaves and she goes to church towards the end of it. So I think that's I don't know, it just shows
like ironic almost, maybe
coincidental, ironic,
a little bit of a mix of both, perhaps.
Yeah, and
it's just no way to explain it. Like, it's hard to explain.
It just makes sense if that's what they're going for. Like, oh my gosh, he's such like such a tumor in this household, and the only time I get a breath of fresh air, which she's getting when all her I don't know what the name is for them, the sisters or the I forget. It's just a bunch of ladies surrounding Rose and consoling her while she cries. That's the only time and they're all wearing white, and that's like the first time we get something other than like dull brown or like just dull colors is when he's gone. So that's my answer. I don't know if that's nothing direct about that, but I guess it should.
What do you think about that, Payton?
I really don't have an answer. Like, in agreement of Cam, it is true. Like, I really don't know how to answer it. But like, when she was surrounded by the sisters and they're all wearing white, that is the first time you're like seeing anything but brown. So, I mean,
yeah,
ironic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't come up with an answer either because like I thought of that question and I was like, I feel like it'd be really bad if I go into this asking it and don't have a response. But I genuinely don't know what to think of it because I feel like if there is an answer for it that either I'm too dumb to think of or just simply can't, there might be two different answers. One for the devil meaning white man and then the religious version of the devil. So maybe there's multiple answers to it and multiple interpretations, but that's above my thinking grade, I suppose. I genuinely can't think. I just thought it was something interesting to bring up and maybe ponder.
I have 2 points, and then I think I'm done. Connecting with yours about, or I guess connecting with what I said earlier about stuff happening when he's not around. The only time we get this entire family together is when he dies.
Right.
No one else.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Like, we never see the two brothers interact, and like the mom and the two brothers in the same house at the same time. I don't think. And I mean, they get the little girl, but I don't know if she really counts because she's not like blood. Uh, but the only time they're like someone is not mad at each other. I mean, the mom was when she wouldn't get her shit, but who cares?
Yeah.
It's when he's dead, and that's so unfortunate for everyone to like get along. Is when the dad, who's supposed to be the leader, is not around anymore, and he makes his, and everyone talking about how big he was when he was in the house and how scared Corey was when he was around, and what's his name, Lions, he didn't really have a relationship because bro was gone, but and Lion, not Lion, what's his girl name?
The girl's name?
Yeah, sorry about the hard.
I wrote it down. Let me check.
It's Ray something.
Raynelli?
Renell.
Renell?
Right now,
Yeah.
I don't think she really knew her dad for real.
No.
He probably was different with her anyway, because I'd assume he'd take her as a grandchild, and I've heard that like dads that are mean with their kids are always super nice to the grandkids, especially if they're girls. So I feel like that's how he was with her. But she was also like, I'd say around like 10 when he died. No, she was 10 when he died, so she probably don't even know who the real him was to these other kids. But yeah, that's me. There was no question. There was just
Who knows if he was even like still living there when she grew up?
That's a good point.
Because Rose did take the baby and just close her door.
Yeah, that's a good point. We don't know how present he was for her.
Yeah. What was your other point that you mentioned? Don't tell me you forgot it.
Good Lord.
Give me 1 second.
Did you write it down at least?
No. Hold on. Oh, yes. So I forgot to mention that at first. This movie is originally a play. And I think this movie does a very good job of making that environment, because I knew that coming into it, and just the feel of it, because we don't have that many locations. At the beginning, we have the truck driving, but a big portion of the house takes place in that backyard. And we have a different variation of shots, which obviously you can't get that with a play. You get like one wide, whatever, with a shot. But I think does a really good job of that. Denzel Washington was the director, and I think that was really well done, because it put me in the environment, and I think because we don't have that many wide shots, and because most of our medium are close, we have a good. I felt closer with them. I felt like he's talking to me, because we have a lot of over the shoulders when they're like giving monologues, and camera zooms in when there's a 2, 3, 4, 5 minute dialogue or monologue, and I don't know. I thought it did a really good job with that.
Yeah. I don't think well, I know I didn't know that it was a play originally until the credits rolled and I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
But even before that, I wasn't opposed to the fact that it was solely just like the house in the backyard for the main setting.
Yeah.
Because if there was more happening and more warranted for it, maybe I would have criticized it more and be like, can we go somewhere else other than these places? But having the story focus around the family and their interactions, and mainly Troy, to be honest, I think it made more sense that it was solely in those spots that hold importance, not just to Troy, but the family as a whole as well.
That's all. Payne, you got anything you want to say? I guess we could just do ratings. If you don't, it's cool.
I don't think so.
My bad. I didn't give you a chance to answer.
You're just telling her what to do, invite guests on, and you're like, you're going to do this, and
I was just saying.
acting like there wasn't a script beforehand. Now you're scripting it as we go. I see.
It's not a lot to say, because I've said it. I've expressed it. This movie is just the typical Black family. It sucks. Like Cam did say, it sucks that at the funeral, like before the funeral, there at the house or whatever, that's the first time the family does like interact with each other. The little girl doesn't even remember Corey, but that's also because Corey left for the Marines. But even then, like, I don't know, it sucks that they all got together and they were laughing and they were happy after Troy died. But you know, the film, everything was great other than that. Yeah.
Okay. We giving out a 5.
I'm gonna say a 4.
4?
All right.
Yes. Cool. Luke.
I will also almost agree. When we got about halfway through and I was watching it, I was like, yeah, this feels like it'll be a 4 out of me. But then, you know, the things that I disliked were like the entire second plot pretty much happens because it's off screen and Troy doesn't keep it in his pants, and a few other minor things like the passage of time not being there. It took it down from great to good, so I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Not even mad at it. Can agree with you. Give it a 4. I think this is really important, and maybe I will come back to this when I'm older. Maybe if I become a dad,
Yeah, you could take your kid to see it or something. Rent out like a theater, play it.
rent a theater to watch
Right.
this.
I don't know, recreate what you had with your mom and have that with your kids.
Maybe. Yeah.
Say something special.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to introduce my kid or kids to movies early because that's what my mom did. She introduced me to this at like crazy age. Not a crazy. She was just showing me a bunch of stuff, and I was like, "What's it supposed to?" Oh, man, but yeah, I'll let him.
You're fresh out of the womb and you're getting put on the Dark Knight and
Man, I came out the womb. I was watching Shawshank and snuff movie. Actually, that's not funny. But yeah, I think I want to rewatch this maybe 2 more times in my lifetime. Maybe like shortly after I become a dad, or like midway in becoming a dad, and then if I'm a grandpa, reflect. That'd be my reflection point. Like, did I turn out like him? I think it's bigger than all of us. I think this is like we didn't even get into it because we talked about everything this movie had to offer. This thing would be like 2 hours long.
right.
But we tried to sum it up in the best way we could with I think with the still 4. We touched on I think we touched on a lot, but didn't go too deep into it. So we just provoke thought in people's mind. But like I said, I give it a 4. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Payton, it's always great to interact with you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
it's really, I think this was a really good podcast.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my episodes that we've done that I think is one of our stronger ones that I've been a part of.
Yeah.
Also a good one because I'm here, guys. Thanks. Kim, don't. He mad. Oh my God. And he's gonna leave that in. I just know he's gonna leave that in. Guys, I just want you to know I'm not like, come on.
No, this was fun though. I think it's fun because it was really serious, and we also had a good time. And I don't know, I don't know, just a really good. I liked it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be doing more Black History movies. We will have a returning guest next episode, which also did a really. That episode was really well. It went really well. We won an award for it. So hopefully that kind of narrows down who it's gonna be. Thank you guys for watching again. I'm Cam.
I'm Luke.
And I'm Payton.
And we'll see you next week. Happy Black History Month. Bye.
Peace.